Hey guys, welcome
we have
back
to skip. I'm pretty sure the 14. I'm pretty sure.
False start.
All right, well, okay, no, we're gonna leave this in there. Leave it in. Leave it all in. All right,
You got
Revenge episode 14 or 13, depending on if you believe in stuff like that. Hopefully you don't, because that's fucking dumb.
That's true.
And today on the podcast we have Stanislaw from Energy, formerly of Complexity and of Liquid and all the other teams. OpTic, of course, can't forget OpTic. Mobility Gaming, yeah, going way back to Mobility Gaming, that's right. So we have Stanislaw on the show, recently semi-finalist at the most recent major, so congratulations on that. Obviously you would have wanted to win it, but, you know, Astralis is pretty good, so that's unlucky.
Were you not on a team with, like, Shroud and, like, JDM and shit, like, way back in the day?
No, never. JDM was on my team on SKDC, and then
again
again
I was on
that
the team
the weirdest
Shroud.
team ever. SKDC
that was
was
you?
JDM, Virtus, Ocean, Els, and me.
Yeah,
that was a stacked roster, dude.
You guys even shoot back?
No.
Dude, I remember.
No.
I remember when that SKDC team went to that ClutchCon event, and I was there. It was the first time I met Ocean, and I walked in the lobby, and he was fucking big, giant Ocean at the time. Yeah. He's still tall, but he's not. He's lost a lot of weight. And he walks up to me, and he just goes, "Hey, Davey, I bet you can't climb that waterfall." And I was like, there was like a waterfall in the lobby, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, yeah, you're probably right. And he was like, "Pussy," you know? Like, what the fuck, Kyle? But yeah, once you know Ocean for a while, you know that's pretty standard as far as he goes.
Ocean has smoked so much weed that he is high for the rest of his life. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's never left his system.
Yeah, it's out of his system. It's still in there a bit. You know, it's just.
Yeah. All right, so let's go into the major real quick. Obviously, Energy just played at the major. You did just make the semifinals. Talk about the challenger stage you had. That you kind of swept through that. Did you guys expect to sort of sweep through the challenger stage?
So challenger stage started off not as we expected. We were playing Dream Eaters when we knew nothing about them, and then we just started off really slow. I think it was first day jitters. So.
Oh, and real quick, also that happens sometimes. You guys had like an hour and a half delay on the first day too. Before the first game, there was like an hour and a half where you guys were just sitting in the server waiting. And I think that really hinders the favorites. Like if you're the favorites going into a game, having that long wait time, I think can really slow things down.
Yeah, I don't think that affected us too much as it was the overall first competition back from the player break and stuff like that. But yeah, we just knew nothing about him, so we had a slow start, and then right away, like as soon as we switched over to CT side, we started rolling again. But we just we fucked up. We couldn't close it out. We made it back to OT. We were down like 15-6, and then yeah, we just couldn't. We kind of choked in overtime, and then moving forward, we were just like, all right, forget that first half, and then we'll just focus on playing with confidence and coming out swinging. And then I think we played Tyloo next, and we just kind of rolled over them. I have a really bad memory, so I don't know who we play next.
Simon. Honestly, I don't know either.
Yeah, Simon.
Thank God Alex is here.
Yeah, Simon gave me on Inferno. That was again another stomp. We were just feeling confident, and then the final team was
Avangar.
Yeah, in the BO3. So again, like all of those matches going into it, we knew we were the better team. So that's just how we ended up playing, and everyone was hitting their shots, and it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I remember that first game against Dream Eaters. I thought that it just seemed like a weird game. It just seemed like a slow start game. Like first game of the tournament, hour delay up against a CIS team you don't know much about. Like the whole thing just seemed weird. People are like, oh, Energy's choking at a major again. I'm like, nah, man. Like no fight. There's no way they're not getting out of this challenger stage. Like that was just first game bullshit.
Just curious.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just curious. Did you guys actually like look at any Dream Eater demos at all before playing that?
I think there was just a few that Chet looked at, but like we were just kind of going in there blind, honestly.
Okay, yeah. Do you think that's how CIS teams make it deep in these runs? Because I feel like just no one watches their demos or something.
Yeah, you look at a team like Avangar, they didn't really have too much on them either. You look at obviously Simon, they upset Vitality, was it right? They just rolled over them on Dust 2 in that stage. So it's like, yeah, you don't really go into a game not knowing what to expect, and then it kind of can mess with your mentality. So you just gotta make sure you're prepared as much as you can be and just hit your shots. That's all it comes down to, especially in a BO1.
Yeah, I don't like that in the major. We were talking about this on Return Fire yesterday, that the majors being all BO1s like that is just such bullshit. Like we've got to the point now where why are we still doing BO1 Swiss? Like there's just no need. Like, why aren't we doing double elim? Like, why, but BO3s or something, like something else. There's got to be better ways.
If there's only going to be 2 majors a year, you just make them like a day or 2 longer and like have more matches. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to be the premier tournaments, right? So I feel like they
you
need to
want
have
the
the
best
format.
of the best in the playoffs, and you're just setting yourself up for upsets to happen constantly with these BO1s. Like a lot of these teams get upset. Like that's how even my time at Complexity, that's how we made top 8 in the FaZe major. We just upset 3 teams in a BO1. Like I'm sure if those were all best of 3s, we would not have made it through.
Wasn't it all on Inferno too?
Yeah.
well, it's just like, and then you look at like your match, like you play Astralis and you lose 2-0, but they win the tournament and you don't have a chance of like redemption, you know, like it sucks getting knocked out by like a weird draw, you know what I mean? Like you guys pretty much won all your matches and you end up playing Astralis just because they did a little bit worse, and I feel like that's a little bit unfair. It's like you basically played the finalists because they didn't play to their maximum potential, and then you get knocked out.
I mean, the only idea I would have is like redoing a new seeding system as soon as you get to the playoffs. So it's like, okay, Liquid messed up in the last stage, but they're obviously one of the best teams here. So just re-put them at number 1 or 2, and then same with Astralis. Or you can adapt a TI style where you just have a lower bracket, which could be really awesome. You know, you're gonna have a bunch of new storylines. Like let's say Liquid lost that first match to Astralis in the quarters, and they made like a lower bracket run back to the final. That could be a cool story.
That's what I was gonna say too. Like adding a lower bracket just adds so much. Like it adds, like you said, a more storyline to the major. Like a team who gets knocked down in the lower bracket first round could go back and end up winning at the end. Like it just makes it.
I think it's even if time is the reason, which it shouldn't be, like they don't want these. I think you could just have BO1 lower bracket. Like you just like at least it gives you a chance. You know, like I don't think anyone's gonna complain about a BO1 lower bracket if the option is no lower bracket or BO1, right? Because at least you have a chance to make it back.
Yeah, BO1 lower bracket would be kind of messed up in my opinion, just because like
there's
so much pressure.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it's ideal, but like something is better than nothing. Like
imagine Liquid in that BO1 in the quarterfinals, they lose to Astralis. They have 1 BO1 and it's like, oh fuck, who are we playing?
3 meters.
Yeah, that major was full of upsets in the playoffs. Like the other side of the bracket was such a joke in comparison. Like that was fucking crazy. It was crazy. Like that final sucked. Like that's what sucks about that. Like that's why you need to do reseeded, I think, or lower bracket or something, because that final was trash. Like the final was not hype at all. Like,
it was literally the least rounds of any major final ever.
Yeah, what was the score? It's like 16-5, 16-6 or something?
Yeah, 11 rounds for a Vanguard in a BO3 total.
Like, come on, dude.
So yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, just...
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey.
My screen just went black. What the...
Oh, you probably just went to sleep mode.
Yeah.
When you guys played...
I panicked.
When you guys played a Vanguard in the Challenger stage, did it feel like that team had any shot of making it even close to as deep as they did?
No, they just weren't hitting shots, and we felt like we were reading them really easily. So like, I just didn't feel like they had anything innovative. So maybe after we beat them, they went back to the drawing board and just added a whole bunch of new stuff. Like sometimes hard losses like that, like we just rolled over them 2-0. Sometimes hard losses like that, they can just go back and scrap everything. And then you saw like in the playoffs, they started playing actually really good CS. So I have no idea how that affected them. But when we were playing against them, we just felt like we were the better team in the server.
Did it feel like James was Jesus Christ himself?
No.
When you were playing against them.
We would hunt him down
Saving
every round he was saving. As soon as I saw he was last line, I'm like, fucking hunt.
Yeah. Go. Hunt this man. No saving. No saving James.
Yeah.
No James time for him. Yeah, like when you play against him, it must obviously feel like I don't know if you know, but like even in the NA scene for the longest time, like Wardell had that meme for like always saving. He was like the North American James for the longest time, and then James comes in and totally just fucking takes over. It's like how this guy's team is losing 10-1, and he's 7-2 right now. How is this possible?
Yeah,
like he's never dead. Does it feel like that when you're playing against him?
Like he's good.
I know he's really good.
So it's like I guess it's a really good quality that he almost always has the op in his hand. So I don't know. I just think like he could do obviously more in the rounds. I don't know what his role is. He's just kind of sitting back, maybe letting them create space for him, and then if he can get a kill with the op or not, he'll just see how it goes. But like, it's really impressive how he has the op almost every single round. It's actually crazy.
Yeah. So when you was there anything like from the outside point of view? I don't know if you saw all the DMCA shit that StarLadder was doing, where they were taking down streamers watching GoTV. Besides that, it seemed like the major ran super smoothly, like across the board. I thought the stage was cool. I thought there was nobody complaining about the PCs. Like, was everything done like really well from StarLadder's point of view? Like, obviously besides the DMCA shit, I think that was dumb as fuck. But for the rest of it, like everything else runs super smoothly.
StarLadder did everything perfectly. Never like we didn't have one delay other than the first day. You saw the stage. Like the stage was incredible.
Yeah.
Those boots and then like the fire, pyrotechnics, whatever, and then the actual arena itself that they managed to organize. Just everything ran smoothly. It was no complaints at all.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's really too bad that they were like really trying to shut down people streaming the Go TVs, and they did that DMCA, because that would have been the only negative publicity they got from the whole major. And now because they did that, like they've opened up a can of worms, and it's just like, why? Like, if you guys, why'd you do that? Like everything was so perfect with the major. Like they even had good games. Like besides the final sucked, but they can't do anything with that. But besides that, they had good games. Everything ran smoothly. Nobody complaining about PCs for the first time like ever. And it was just, yeah, it seemed really, really dumb.
Yeah, StarLadder messed up, but also obviously CS:GO messed up, right?
Yeah, I can't believe they haven't said anything
out and
about
address
it.
it, and they still
Yeah,
haven't.
yeah. It's crazy that for Dota they'll come out and address it immediately, and then for Counter-Strike they're just like, just figure it out, guys. Like they don't do anything.
Were the devs actually at the major? They usually are. Were they there this time? Did you talk to them?
Then, no, I didn't see them.
No. Yeah, I think I know they usually go. I remember at Columbus I talked to them a little bit, but yeah, who knows if they were there.
Because Dota's Gaben's baby, dude. You can't take that shit away from him.
No, he does love it.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to like party and did you guys get to like go out in Berlin? Like, did you guys go to clubs and stuff? Because the club scene there is supposed to be crazy.
Oh yeah. Since we went 3-0 in the stage, we had like literally 4 or 5 days off, and yeah, we took advantage.
What the fuck, dude? You didn't play Counter-Strike literally 18 hours per day preparing for the
maybe
next
that's
day.
why I lost to Astralis. We went out and had fun.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and they didn't. They just stayed back at the hotel and fucking gamed all day.
Yep. Yeah, maybe that's
nerds.
Fucking nerds winning the major.
when you go, like, obviously, you know, you've lost a lot of weight. You go to the gym a lot. When you travel to events like that, do you do anything special for your diet? I know Corey used to like order in meal preps, like from meal prep companies, for weekends at a time.
Like in terms of me, I just like to. It's really general. I just like to feel good. So
yeah.
I just try to eat clean, and I didn't go to the gym every single day, but like every other day I would just go. Like the hotel gyms we all know are just absolutely terrible. They barely have any good equipment. So I just went there kind of just, you know, just get your heart rate up for like 30 minutes or an hour, and then I'd feel pretty good. So that's all I really did.
People underestimate, you don't gotta hit the gym 7 days a week, you know, like every other day is totally fine. Like it's more the diet part, I think. Like you keep a wrap on the diet, you work out, you'll be fine. Unless you're trying to be like a mass monster or something, you know what I mean? Then the rules change a bit. But
and I don't know if you've talked about this a lot, Corey, whereas like what kind of diet is best for Counter-Strike? And you specifically said, like, I remember you talking about like just you eat like shit, you eat McDonald's and pizza. And you like look at me back in OpTic in 2016, like I was a pig. And I was playing some insane Counter-Strike back then. But like I don't know, if I compare it myself to now, like I just feel a lot better, and I feel like I've actually improved my game. But I guess obviously each individual is different.
Well, do you feel like your reaction time has improved? Because I feel like when I lost weight and I got healthier, like I feel like I'm quicker. Like just personally, I don't know. Like I have no benchmarks of like old reaction time tests to like compare, but like I don't remember being this fast personally.
Okay, calm down a bit. Yeah, I've noticed like slight improvements. Obviously, you can focus for longer. A big thing with me lately has been caffeine. Like I'd say in the past 2 years, I drank a lot of coffee, but the past month, I'd say I just like completely cut it out, and I actually feel a lot better. So I don't know, like in terms of diet, it's really clean, and I work out as much as I can. But in terms of like caffeine, you see all these pros drinking like 4 Red Bulls on their desk right before a match and Monsters. It's like, how can you function like that? That's not good for your heart, and like you're gonna crash really hard. So I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, no, I remember I used to have teammates, and they would be like, "Oh, I need to go to match starts in 30 minutes. Got to go to the store and get some Red Bulls, and then come back and they'd be like, oh, I just chugged one. I'll drink this other one during the match." I'm like, dude, that is bad. Like you can't do like you're like. I remember Corey's when he told me about this. Like your sugar's gonna crash. Like you're gonna crash in the middle of this game. You're
Well,
gonna
that's
go
why
down.
that's why the 0 calorie runs are actually better. Like if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna drink a energy drink, you're better off to drink
No
the
sugar.
0 calorie runs, just so you don't get the sugar crash. And if you want to drink the sugar one, you got to sip it like continuously so that you don't like get that crash, because you won't crash if you sip on it. But if you just chug the thing, yeah, you're gonna go up then down because it's just pure sugar.
Yeah, that's what's so important for pros. They need to understand is like just find a balance in your life that you can play through an entire match without losing focus and energy, and you can just have everything consistent.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to check the study again, but I could have sworn I read that caffeine doesn't actually like improve your reaction time if you're not tired. Like if you slept well, you don't really like if you like to drink a coffee just because it makes you feel good, that's fine. But you don't need to like excessively stimulate yourself if you don't normally do that. So I think players go to event and they just pound, like you said, Red Bulls and I don't know.
It's weird with the caffeine part for me. Like I would drink a coffee in the morning and then I'd be crashing at like 6 p.m. But now when I don't drink coffee at all and I'm good until like 9 or 10 before I start feeling tired. So I don't know what the effects of that is.
I think it's one of those things where if your diet and your sleep is fine, you don't really need coffee. Like coffee is more of like a band-aid for poor sleep than it is. It does have performance enhancing effects, but in terms of Counter-Strike, I'm not sure how much you're really benefiting
I used
from
it mainly for weight loss because it also suppresses your appetite. So like instead of in the morning, I didn't have to eat breakfast. I would just have like a black coffee and I'd be good for a lot longer.
Did you just want to do that just to be healthier, or were you just like, fuck being fat? Like, did you have a reason?
In terms of the weight loss, it just kind of clicked one day. Just couldn't feel like shit anymore, so clean up the diet.
What was your pre-diet? Like your fat diet? Was it like
just eat what you want?
There's like
no like
burgers and
specific
pizzas
list,
and
just
stuff?
eat what you want.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous road, but just eat clean and exercise and you'll slowly lose the weight.
It's easier than people think. Once you get in a pattern, it's not so bad. It's probably like a first week or two that can be detoxing from all the sugar. Because people like to be like, oh, fat people are no willpower. It actually is addicting. Like sugar, like your body will crave it. Like you'll want it. So you just got to beat that part, and then
we've all been there for the most part, right? Like you and I understand what it's like to be overweight. So it's really like it's not as people just say, oh, just stop eating, but it's a lot more than that. It's like it's actually a part of it is mental health, and you gotta address that issue too.
The worst is when like when you're cutting out sugar and you cut it out and then you eat and you're full, but your body is still telling you that you're hungry because it just wants sugar, and you're just like it's like I just ate, why am I still hungry? And it's just your body being like, give me fucking sugar now. Yeah. So anyways, moving on real quick. Last week we were talking to Valens, and he had said, I asked him, I was like, which player? Oh, I just went black too. Here we go. I'm back. Which player on Cloud9 when he was there like most surprised him? And he said it was actually TaRiK because he had this like crazy ability to just like remember things that like that people don't remember, like a little play where you would talk about it like a week before and be like, when we're in this situation, we should do this. And TaRiK can just like recall it mid-round somehow. It's like this magical thing. When you're playing with TaRiK, do you notice this like mid-round that he's got some special thing in his brain?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I was just saying, man, this is what Valens said. Valens said that when TaRiK was IGLing on Cloud9, he was really good at remembering things that people had suggested to him previously.
So it's like, oh, guys, we're in the match. Like last week, remember that split we did on Ivy?
Yeah. Remember when this worked here? Yeah, exactly. Like he can remember, or somebody will say like at the beginning of the game, hey, like if this isn't working, we should try to do this. And you know how sometimes when you're in the game and you like kind of just like forget things, you're focusing on what's happening. Apparently, TaRiK could always remember to call shit mid-round that would work.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was a good quality of his when he was IGLing, but now he's obviously not. We've never had that situation where he's had to make that suggestion. But in terms of him as a player, just incredible. Like everyone knows how positive he is all the time. I think that's one of his best qualities. And then in terms of skill, like he's just so versatile because he can use any gun and just make any play you can imagine. So
no, that's actually the thing that surprised me the most about like meeting tarik is like, some players are like fake nice, like they're kind of nice when it benefits them type thing. I felt like Tarik's like genuinely just a nice guy. Like you talk to him, he's always happy, he's always positive. He doesn't really put down anyone, and if he does, it's more of like a troll put down, just like kind of banter. But I don't know. I just think he's like one of the people that kind of surprised me, because a lot of the younger players that get really good have egos, and he doesn't really seem like he has like an obvious one. I mean, everyone has a little ego, but
yeah, I think you need a bit of an ego just for your own confidence. But yeah, in terms of him being just genuine overall, I agree. And I just think it's kind of rare in the scene. It's sad to say, but like there's just not many pros out there that actually are genuine.
That's what I mean. Is a lot of people, it just seems like they might not be bad people, but it's like it's more about like, does it benefit them to be your friend, or like, does it benefit them to talk to this person for potentially getting on a team, and then as soon as that potential goes away, they'll just like stop like doing whatever they're doing.
Notice how like a common theme of all Counter-Strike teams is this is probably in the older days, not now. Whenever you wanted to join a team, you would pug with a specific person on the other team and just like befriend them as best you can for that week, and then you're like, oh man, can I join? What's up?
Yeah, it's just like, oh man, what's his name?
Stanislaw secret tactics to joining new teams.
No, I never did that. I thought that was despicable.
So is that what you did? So here we go. Moving a little bit. Let's go to the snakislaw meme that happened when you left OpTic. Because personally, I thought it was bullshit, but obviously not everybody else might not know the whole story and what went down there. So what actually happened? You released that whole Twitlonger, the truth, not the best move, but it'll happen. Yeah, delete it.
More than one.
Yeah. So what actually went down there between you leaving OpTic and joining Liquid? Why did some of the players on OpTic come out and say, they were so surprised and like all this stuff? Like what actually went down there?
So on OpTic, obviously we had that insane run. We won E-League. We came second at ECS. We won like a Northern Arena. So everything was going really well. But there's a lot of problems within the org, because at that time it was literally just Hex and some guy named Ryan running it. And when two guys run an org by themselves, like they have a whole bunch of other teams and content to do. So like it was almost impossible for us to get anything we needed, like a boot camp and visa issues and shit. Like literally 10 days before the major, Mixwell had to fly to Italy or some shit to get his visa done. So we couldn't practice for the major. So I thought that was like just so horrible. Like we can't even focus on just CS. We have to deal with this visa stuff and all that. So the org was in shambles. And then in terms of like our actual team chemistry and stuff, like we had a lot of attitude problems back then. Like Naf's already admitted to like being a lot different, and even me, like I was a lot more passive and quiet back then, and it just stopped messaging. So when we went to the major, finally we just kind of crashed out. I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. Like we were renegotiating with OpTic at the time, and the main part where I messed up is when I actually left. It's like I told him I was thinking of leaving, but then I didn't like give a definite like, okay, I've made up my mind. I want to go. So I first like spoke to Liquid to see if anything could materialize, and then it did. And yeah, it just kind of I did it backwards. I should have let them know I'm thinking of leaving and I want to leave, and then I just talked to Liquid about it. So yeah, I did it backwards and I messed up. But yeah, obviously can't take it back.
So what do you think about Naf? Because like obviously, I feel like he's one of the more. I don't really think he's underrated, but I think like in Liquid, his role kind of changed to be more of like a support, and he honestly is like could be a star of like any team. I think like frag wise, if he's given like his role. But like, is his attitude as bad as people said back then? Because I never played with him personally, and obviously he must have fixed it for Liquid, or he wouldn't be on there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, back then, all I can say is like he kind of had an anger problem. It was hard for people to criticize him and give him constructive criticism again. But yeah, I've spoken to him recently at events, and I think he's changed for the better. I hope anyway. I can't obviously speak to like how he's like in Liquid. But yeah, he just seems like he's matured a lot, and I think everyone kind of matures with age. But at the same time, in terms of his skill, he's kind of like tarik in a way to me, because he can use any gun almost, and he's just really skilled. I don't know how else to put it really.
He's that guy that doesn't make sense. Like he's playing alright a tournament, and then he just like goes 30-5 versus Astralis, and you're just like, okay, like where did that come from? But it just like I don't know. The better the team is, like the better he plays or something. But actually, I have a funny story about NAF. So people always like, you know when you so I'm like I'm on a flight to Serbia, okay, and we're on the same plane, and these flights are like 12 hours, like 10, 12 hours. I can't remember exact time. I remember he's next to me, and he literally didn't look at his phone. He didn't watch a movie. He didn't do anything. He didn't nap. He just looked forward for the whole time. And I remember I looked over at him and I was like, "Hey man, like you want to watch a movie?" And he's just like, "No, I'm good." And I was just like, for me, like,
can you watch something
more,
like for me?
Of a deeper process going on in there than we all understand.
Yeah, he's just theory crafting Counter-Strike, just 24/7.
I fucking love NAF. I remember at that same event, he was sharing a room with Daps, and him and Daps just laid in the room the whole time watching animal videos, like they had National Geographic. Yeah, and
it was the only English show on, so we just watched it 24/7. I learned so much.
I know, we learned so, and then we'd all go out to eat, and we'd be like, "Naf, you want to come?" And he'd be like, "No, I'm just gonna stay here." I was like, "Okay, Naf." And then we'd go, and as we're walking to the restaurant, like Daps would get a text like, "Hey, can you bring me back some food?"
Oh my god!
I was just like, "All right, Naf, sure, man, no problem." He just stayed in his room the entire time when we weren't playing. He was so funny, man. I love Naf.
Yeah, that's what I remember most about him. Him just the ability to sleep 16 hours a day. I
Yeah,
don't know how you
crazy.
can do it. You just lay in bed and don't move. Like when I'm immobile for that long, my bones actually start to hurt. It's like
Yeah. All right. So now moving on past that, then you were on Liquid. Obviously, there was sort of the falling out on Liquid between, it's rumored, between you and Zeus, and then you sort of got the IGL role taken away, put to Nitro. What happened towards the end of Liquid, and then eventually going into Complexity?
Yeah, another Twitlonger situation.
Yeah, another Twitlonger.
By the way, if I could take them all back, obviously I would. That's the most important thing.
Well,
I think
they should never have given you Twitlonger. That was
Well, you are 25 now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now your brain's fully developed. You would never make that mistake
wasn't
again.
Developed,
Yeah, it wasn't developed at the time, so you couldn't be responsible for those decisions. Now you're fully developed. You would never make those mistakes again.
No, that's one thing I've hoped I learned and continue to learn, is just to learn from your past. And in terms of Liquid, when I joined, I feel like it was kind of a little bit of a mess. I think Elise back then was actually pretty bad in terms of attitude. And then like he's changed a lot for the better. Now he's one of the best players in the world, so that's fantastic. But like back then, for my very first LAN with those guys, like we had some serious talks already. And like it was really, I've never had a team start that way where we have to focus so much on attitude and out of game stuff so early on. And then as it developed, I felt like we overall did okay. We made a final in Greece, and also ESL New York. We made a final there. But overall, I just think Zeus just wanted everyone to live in California, and I didn't really want to do that at the time. So that was kind of also a big issue. That just kind of I don't know. The best way to sum it up, we all just kept focusing on issues outside of the game, and that was what was most frustrating. So towards the end of Liquid, obviously my IGLing wasn't working out because I was mentally distracted with all the issues outside of game. So then I was the one that kind of suggested like, okay, maybe Nick can try leading and I can just go back to being a lurk, secondary support player, whatever. And it went pretty well for the first few months, but then again, like outside issues just started leaking in again. If I could go back and like rework with Zeus, I would 100%. Like he's one of the best coaches out there. But yeah, I was just really immature at the time, and we just couldn't really ever get back from those dark times when I first joined. It was just like too much has been said and too much went down already, so that it just couldn't be fixed.
What made Zeus like a really good coach? Because everyone hears that all the time, but what does he really bring to the table?
He's just a leader. He's really good at mediating conflict and just a really good friend, easy to talk to. He wasn't necessarily like really extremely strategic, which I didn't mind because obviously you have 5 players who can give ideas, and everyone knows already like I'm the type of player that likes to play free and loose CS. Like I don't like to anti-strat a team, so it was kind of a really good match. But yeah, he's just a really strong leader, easy to talk to, good friend. Yeah.
So Valens went into this a little bit, but like if you I know some teams like C9 and Astralis, they're like heavy on anti-stratting and watching demos. So do you just like kind of look at notes from an analyst and then just kind of ballpark some stuff off like small anti-strats, or do you just completely ignore everything and just go into a game?
For our team, Chet just watches as many demos as he can, and then he gives me the rundown, I guess, and then we just make like a game plan based on whatever I think. It's not necessarily to anti-strat them, but it's like we want to go into each game with like a pistol set and a second round set and a third round set.
So you might know just like their weaker site or something broad,
just
kind of like you run your own strats, but just know kind of where their weaknesses are.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's more of like just an overall game plan where you make a plan out for the game so everybody knows what type of style you're going to be playing this game. Everybody knows what the general idea is so that everybody can work together and kind of, play the same type of CS throughout the whole game. And that could change depending on team to team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I think what's good about that is if our game plan starts to fall apart, then he already has all the notes from the demos and he can just take attack and give me an idea if I need one.
Right. But no big ideas coming from TaRiK. No big brain remember ideas from TaRiK.
No, everyone's given an idea if I ever needed one. So
Valens is letting us down with that one. I was really hoping to get a double down on that, but it's all right. It's all right, TaRiK. Maybe next time.
Yeah, all right, so curious,
go ahead, Alex.
Who, like, if there were like a secondary guy caller or whatever, is there one at all? Like, or is it just? Do you think it's uniform across the board? Like the other 4 players are all giving equal feedback all the time.
If I had to put an order on our team, I would say Ethan and TaRiK are probably the most vocal, just because Ethan's positions, he's in a lot of lurk positions, so he has to be vocal. Let me know like what's going on the other site. And then in terms of TaRiK, like he's just really good at also being vocal and mid rounding. If I'm not really calling anything mid round, we're just defaulting, then like he'll take over if I need him to. Or CeRq, if he's like open and he wants to go for a pick, then he kind of takes over. But I'd say like Breezy is the more quiet one, but that's fine because he can just go kill. That's all.
Yeah.
Listen, now I have a problem with CeRq because like I was MMing the other day and I was streaming, me and Flom, we were playing, and CeRq comes into my chat and he's like, "Yo, let me play." And I was like, "All right, CeRq, come play." And he comes in and immediately starts shit talking me, right? He's this kid, and then he goes negative in the MM game, TKs and gets himself kicked. What the fuck is up with this guy? Who does this fucking kid think he is?
Bulgarians, dude.
He's a big troll.
And then he comes back, and people say, "Oh, CeRq's all quiet, nice guy." You don't fucking know CeRq. You people don't know CeRq. This kid is an absolute savage piece of shit.
Okay,
Fuck
you
that
watch
guy.
your mouth when you're talking about my Fuck
that guy.
No, he's just a huge troll.
No, he is. He's a funny kid. Yeah. He is for sure. Did he just turn 19? Like he's still just a fucking child, really.
I think he's turning 20, but yeah, he's really.
Oh, okay. Still. Yeah, funny kid.
Have you talked to him about how moving from Bulgaria to America was? Like, isn't that like really hard for someone that young?
I mean, before I joined, he was already there for a while, and I've read a lot of interviews from him where he said that he already feels like America is his second home. So I've never talked to him about it, but like, I'm just really impressed with the way he's dealt with it all. Like, I don't feel like he's ever homesick. He's just really always involved and works really hard.
Yeah, he seems pretty comfortable. Everybody handles it differently. Like I've had teammates in the past who don't handle it very well. I've had some that do handle it well. It's hard to know who's going to handle what. You almost need to like filter that through in the interview process when you're talking to new players. If you're talking to European players, you have to sort of get the gauge, because they'll always tell you like, "Oh yeah, I just want to come, I just want to play, I just want to do it," But like you have to actually like kind of figure it out, like how are they going to be able to handle this or not. And CeRq seems like he handles it pretty well.
I think it's easier when you're coming from somewhere like Bulgaria as opposed to like Sweden, which is just like fucking the standard of living is so high. And
that's
like,
true.
But I mean, no shade, Bulgaria.
I mean, even I lived abroad in Texas for a year when I was on Cole, and that was pretty. It was okay at the start, but it's just like.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's cliche to say it's not home.
Yeah, no, when I was in California for a year, I felt the same way. It's like it's okay at the start, and then you start like missing your family and friends, and like you just, if you go home, it's for like 3 days, and then you come back, like it's not, and it's very hard because it's like you pretty much don't have an apartment or something, so you're like going, you don't really have, like, you can't really go back, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of living somewhere permanently, but I like it for short periods of time. Like, I think it's super beneficial to go somewhere for like a month or like 2 months even. But yeah,
that ties into what we talked about earlier, where people aren't really genuine. So I feel like going on a team like Cole, we weren't best friends. So it's like all I did there was fucking go to the gym, go to my apartment, wake up the next day and practice. Like that's miserable.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun
No,
at
it
all.
definitely is.
actually, that's what
So-
Reddit says you're supposed to do, though. I mean, you should even cut the gym out, honestly.
So what
Yeah.
was your time on Cole like that? Like you said, you go there, you're in your apartment, you wake up, you practice. Nobody on the team, like you're not best friends. Did you guys hang out a lot outside of practice? When you did, was it like forced? Like you felt like what was your time on Cole like during the time you were there up until the point when you eventually left?
I mean, we had like forced team lunches because they have a pretty cool facility, so they just wanted us all to eat there, which is cool. I mean, I had a good time, but in terms of like bonding outside of the game, we just never did it. I just never think we had the personalities to be friends, and I'm a part of that. Like I fucked up a lot where I'm not easy to get along with sometimes, and I hope I've grown at least since joining NRG. But yeah, I think it's important to make sure you're able to get along and hang out on the outside. Like with this team, like I've never felt happier being on a team
Yeah,
right
I was
now.
about to say you've got a lot of nice, really fun, friendly kids on
Yeah,
that team. So
yeah. I just
it'd be
feel like
easy.
they welcomed me so quickly, and yeah, I just feel at home right away.
Did you replace Phantom and Twiggy with Breeze and Ethan?
Phantom and Twiggy, what do you know about those guys?
It's MDL mainstay guys back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're my
I talked to Phantom about how it was pugging with you back in the day, and just like how you would just make the most ridiculous plays all the time, and just like get into places that just felt unbelievable. Like I
yeah,
don't
but you
Yeah.
know, there's two Phantoms, right? There's the older one and then
Yeah.
his younger
Yeah.
brother.
his younger brother, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
He
no,
still plays now and then.
Yeah, no, I always say that about Pete. Like people might not remember this. Some people are gonna remember this. Some people aren't. If you're super OGs, way back in the day, we made the Shitvensive series. Way back in the
my
day
God.
on YouTube. Way back, and I still have people that come to my stream now and be like, "Next Shitvensive when?" And I'm just like, "Look, man, it's not happening." Like,
Wait, what
it's
is
just-
it?
You can't do it anymore. It's like
No,
you
you
just go into
can't,
pubs
yeah.
and just troll. But it's
Yeah.
like because you can get behind people, you hide in smokes, you knife them, and like stuff like
Yeah.
that. It was really
Yeah.
fun. But now everyone's just so aware.
No,
like,
People are
back
too
then,
good.
back then people were bad. Like it was
Yeah.
so easy to just do things and abuse people. So when you said like, oh, he would always get in these crazy places behind people, I'm like, oh yeah, no, we know all
Yeah,
about that.
we had a lot of practice, you and I.
Yeah, we did.
with that.
We had hundreds of hours of practice.
Even at 1.6, we did that.
It's true. No, I think I might have a video of us doing it in 1.6 on my YouTube
Yeah.
channel somewhere too. Actually, maybe we might get a spike in views on some of those videos. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, no, that was yeah, very experienced with stuff like that. Definitely. So when you were leaving Cole, Jason Lake, he was on the No Majors Club when I was there. Shout out Richard Lewis, and he was talking about how like when you left Cole, you had you went to him and you had told him that you wanted to go to Energy, and then he had agreed to sell you, and he was talking to the guys from the Energy, and he had said, I'm sorry, Jason, if this isn't verbatim, but something along these lines, where he said that that he was telling the Energy ownership, like, this is your guy, he's the perfect leader, this is what you need, this is your guy, blah, blah. And he really sold you to the Energy owners, and they discussed it, and then when they actually did the release, he released it as saying that it was mutual, and you didn't like that he had said it was mutual because it wasn't, and you had asked to leave. And then he said he was doing that to sort of help your public image and all that. What sort of happened when you left Complexity? What went down there? And just sort of, yeah, just what happened? What happened with all that?
First of all, there was no Twitlonger, so I made progress there.
There you go. Yeah, no Twitlonger this time.
Yet.
Yeah,
There's still time.
When I left Cole, first of all, I want to preface this with saying like I was treated very well there from start to finish. So props to Jason Lake for actually being genuine and holding up his end of the bargain. But yeah, when I left, like towards the end of that team, I was just miserable. Like I've already said, I was away from home and like just we weren't winning anything. We weren't traveling. Like we weren't friends. Like it was just why was I there? So after we lost to Pro League, like we lost to some South American team called Isurus, and like that's like a career low for me. So after that, literally after that game, we went back to the hotel, and I just told him like I can't do this anymore. Like I gotta leave. I'm not benefiting you guys by being on this team. Like I'm actually becoming a detriment at this point. So that's why I was kind of upset when they said it was mutual, because like I'm the one that suggested I should leave, but like I could care less anymore. Yeah, Jason Lake made it super easy for me to move on. I never had a plan in place to
That's what
join
happens. That's okay. That's
NRG.
why we don't do this live. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I
No,
mean,
you
this
can
will
put
stay
that
in
in, I
there
don't
now,
care.
but this will all stay in now anyways. But.
Yeah, when I decided to leave Cole, I didn't think like, okay, I've already talked to Energy, I can join them, or I can talk to C9, I can join them. I just had to get out of there, and then luckily enough, Energy messaged me and made it happen really quick.
So the whole process was real quick. The whole buyout, everything went real smoothly, real quickly.
Yeah, literally over a few days. Like I announced
Perfect.
I was benched, and then a few days later I was messaged, we negotiated, and then boom, I was signed.
There you go. So when the actual benching announcement happened, obviously there was a ton of rumors in the scene that you were gonna go to Energy, but at the time that wasn't actually in place at that time. Like it was just sort of worked out that way.
Yeah, no, I never spoke to anyone on Energy before leaving Cole. So after they saw that I was benched, they're like, oh, maybe we can just take a shot at him now. So I guess
Yeah.
it just all worked out.
Well, that does make sense. So was it awkward then having to play that first event with Daps there? Like Daps had to play the event, but you were there practicing. Was that awkward? Was that a little weird?
I mean, you can ask him the same question, but for me, it wasn't. Like he's such a cool guy. Like
True.
he's really
That's
easy to
true, yeah.
get along with and talk with. Like obviously, it was a little bit weird going. He had to go play matches with them, and then he had to kind of leave so that I could practice with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he just handled it very well.
No, he is. He's a really nice guy actually. He's a super cool dude. So yeah, so that all went smoothly. No, there was nothing awkward there. Well, that's good. That's good to hear, because I was, when you see stuff like that happening, you're thinking like, oh man, I wonder if this is going to affect the team. This is going to be so weird and awkward. But it's nice to hear that there was nothing actually. That it was just all sort of business as usual.
No, it was good. Yeah.
All right. So then now we're thinking the team right now. You've just made semifinals of a major. What are your goals for the rest of the year?
Rest of the year, I just hope we
Yeah.
can win something. I
Yeah.
think it's going to create that snowball effect like it did for all the other top teams, where you have this hump that you need to get over, and then eventually once you get over that hump, it just becomes a lot easier. It's just about it's just about experience at the end of the day. If you can, like these guys on the team and even me, we've all been in the semifinals, quarterfinals, whatever. Like now we need to get to the finals and actually be able to handle the pressure to win. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully we can win something before the end of the year.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. I like that Energy's like a really good team right now. Like I think it's good to have
Skill wise, it's a pretty stacked roster. I think
skill wise,
like,
it's stacked as fuck.
Energy and Liquid are probably
Yeah.
the most skilled like NA lineups. Probably, I think overall.
Probably as far as skill goes, they're like 1 and 2. Like even in the world, like I think if you line up player for player, Astralis versus Energy, I think you could easily make the argument that Energy has more like just purely skilled players than Astralis does. I think you can totally make that
sure.
argument.
Definitely top 5, yeah.
They're definitely up there. After some of these roster changes happen around the world, it's going to get a little bit more even. Like if Guardian goes to Na'Vi for Zeus, like that's a pretty stacked roster. I still think Energy might be more skilled overall, but it's still like pretty fucking close. Especially if Guardian gets the old form. You know what I mean? Like if he goes to like Prime Guardian, then it's just. But
how's that going to work though with Simple and Guardian? Like I think
he's opting, apparently.
I think it's fucking
apparently
weird.
Simple doesn't want to op anymore.
Oh, Simple said
Or
that?
Simple gets unleashed.
He didn't say that, but apparently those are the rumors that that Guardian. You don't get Guardian and not have him op. Like
that's what I mean. That's why I thought it was fucking weird. Like you have the best player in the world on your team. He's your primary opper, and you're picking up Guardian.
I think
that doesn't make sense to me. Unless Simple, like you said, unless he straight up is like, yo, I want a rifle now. Then okay, fair enough. Fuck it.
I feel like Simple's AK is so fucking good that like
he's just so good.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean though. Like in terms of like. You take out another rifler, and who do you pick to have the AK? Like Guardian can do a substitute job for his opping on T side. I do think Simple is way better at CT opping, but he can just double op, right? Like
it's true.
He can just op as much as he wants.
We haven't seen Simple use the Krieg enough. Like that's something also that's just gonna be nasty.
Yeah. Dude, Simple on just anything, but the Krieg is so fucking busted right now. I wonder how they're gonna do it.
DM, dude, it pisses me off. They just like they just like rape you.
So what do we? Yeah. So what do we think about these French roster changes? There's rumored
Well,
French changes.
G2 cut Shocks and Lucky, right?
Rumored. I think
And
Shocks
then-
is official. I don't know if Lucky. Honestly, I have no clue what's official and what's rumored anymore.
And then Vitality was just minus MBK, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Vitality
Okay,
picked up
Vitality
Shocks was too expensive to buy from G2. That's the latest
Yeah.
report. Is that so? They're going for Keo.
But the thing that was weird about the Vitality thing was like they announced that shit like a millisecond after they like lost the major. So
It was like one day, right?
Well,
Yeah, like
it was,
so this they're just playing the major. Like yeah, he's cut after. I guess like
there was some reporter guy that was like pushing a story on it, and they wanted to be the first like thing. They actually beat him by like 1 minute, so that's why they pushed it. And then he published his story, and then everyone clowned him because it's like, dude, they already published this, you knew, or whatever. And it's
Oh,
like,
got him.
it feels bad for him, but like that's why they did it. I'm pretty sure because they didn't
Yeah.
want to get beat to the punch.
Wasn't there a clip of MBK showing his coach the finger?
Yeah.
After, like a match.
yeah.
Yeah, he gave his coach the
Maybe there was
finger.
actual meaning behind that.
Yeah, maybe there was an underlying tone there. You know?
Oh,
What could this mean? Yeah, some shit went down obviously, but MBK said he was surprised that he got cut, which I think, like you said, if he's after the game, if he's giving his coach the finger, like you can't be that
Yeah.
surprised, you know? Like you can't
I
be that
mean,
shocked by the whole thing.
Looking at the makeup of their roster, they had obviously Alex who calls, and
Mhm.
I don't know how much MBK input, but like, yeah, that's not really healthy if both were kind of having a power struggle. I'm sure that
Yeah.
leaked into the team a little bit, but I always thought MBK was really talented, so it must be outside of game issues that kind of couldn't get
think-
them to the
I
top.
think he had the worst rating on their team at the major or something. So
Yeah, he had a
also-
bad event. Plus, if
Yeah.
they're fighting with everybody, and then
Yeah.
it just sort of goes whatever. But there was those leaked. I don't know if they were leaked Discord screenshots or if he meant them to be public or whatever. But where he had said that it was Alex and Apex that were the ones pushing for him to get removed, and RPK and ZywOo were just kind of like going along with it or something. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah.
this is like 2019 CS. Like this used to happen in like 2014. Like this shit. None of this should be being made public right now. Like this is some wild shit. Although I like it though. Like
We like it. They
yeah,
don't.
exactly. We like it. But if I'm in that team right now, I'm like, what the fuck, guys? Like, why can we not just shut the fuck up? Like, do we have to talk about this all the time?
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like you said, I think they're going for Keo now. I think that's a pretty good move. Shocks' buyout is 700k, which is like wild.
I mean,
These
is
buyouts are
anyone really worth 700k?
Simple.
I mean, still.
Yeah, I'm saying. I'm just saying.
$100,000.
I know, no, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. I'm just saying.
But
If
we're
you,
talking about compare the two, right? Shocks and Simple. There's Simple
Yeah.
is so much more, so
Yeah,
much
it's
better,
true.
so much more marketable.
Yeah.
You can just market him as the best player in the world.
it's true.
Shocks hasn't been at the top for some time now. Like he's been close to getting back, and he's put in some good performances, but 700k is just ridiculous.
He's obviously not worth 700k. I don't think anybody thinks.
I think
he's
all
worth
these contracts just always favor the orgs, man. Like it's just how it is. Like they make you sign 3-year contracts. They make you like yeah, there's pay bumps in them usually, and like big bonuses and that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, like your worth could technically go up much faster than the contract could keep up with, especially with the growth of esports. And then you also have to take into account like buyouts shouldn't be as much in the first year as they are in the third year, but they don't really take that into account most of the time. It just is a set amount. Whereas like if someone wants to buy you out after you've been on 3 months, they haven't really invested that much into you. I mean, overall, like yeah, you're worth something to them, but I don't know. I think like, there needs to be something better for players. But oftentimes you don't have much of an option. It's like either you sign because you want to join the team, or you don't get to be on the team. Like
Players have a lot more power than they think. I don't think they
Yeah.
realize that. Like anytime I join a team, it's like, here's what I want. Are you gonna give it to me or not? Because you have to be able to put everything on the line and say, I'm not gonna join your team if you're gonna just put me in this jail of a contract. You're not gonna set my buyout to some ridiculous amount and then not give or take anything in return. It's just players have a lot more power than they think. And if Shock signed that 700k buyout, then he must have had a pretty nice salary.
I was about to say he must be getting like 30 grand a month, just chilling, just sitting there on his 700 grand buyout, sitting in his backyard, drinking wine, eating cheese.
well, yeah. I mean, if your salary is high enough, you can justify the buyout.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
No, but I've been saying this for years, and I've helped a lot of players with their contracts over the years. Because I remember back in 2015, like I was negotiating my buyout, I was negotiating things, and people were like, And then I talk to players, they'd be like, "Oh man, like how do you have such a good contract?" I'm like, I fucking asked for it. What do you mean? How do you have such a good contract? People are like, dude, why is your Splice contract so good? It's like, because I fucking asked for it. Like, did you even ask? Like people are like, oh man, like your buyout, like wow, that's your buyout structure. Wow, that's your severance structure. Wow, that's how much you're getting paid. Oh my, what did you do? How did this happen? It's like,
it's just about knowing your worth. Like when you were on Splice or whoever, like you knew what you could bring to the org. Like you were, like whatever you are. If you're an IGL, you know you're valuable. If you're an OpTic, in NA, there's like no OpTics. You know you're valuable. You can use that to your advantage.
Absolutely, and people need to. And first of all, if you're gonna sign a 2-year contract in CS, which you shouldn't do, but if you're going to sign a 2-year contract in CS because of whatever reason where they're saying, look, we only do 2-year contracts, this is the fucking deal. You say, okay, but you have to negotiate shit. You can't just be like 2-year contract, no set buyout, no renegotiation phase. Like if you're gonna do a 2-year contract, I would always tell people make a mandatory renegotiation phase at the end of the first year. And if at the end of the first year, if you can't come to an agreement based on the change in value of the team or of you or of whatever, at the end of that first year, then the buyout changes drastically if you don't come to an agreement. You know,
I mean, it's also
to actually have a buyout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I also feel like matters a lot is what org you're joining and the reputation the owner has too, because you can be more lenient on a contract if he's got a really good track record of being like a good person. Like, but you know, if you don't really know the org, especially the lower orgs, don't fucking sign a bad contract or like one that doesn't favor you at all. Because I remember when I signed with Splice, as much as I didn't like the way they cut us and stuff, like when I was talking to Marty, he wouldn't agree to everything that I said, but he said like, look, I can't write it, but like after a year we'll renegotiate like privately. And I said, okay, he doesn't really have anything negative against him, and he did it to me. He raised my salary after X amount of time without it actually being in there. But I don't advise that. But like, if you know the guy,
that, though, right? Because it's at the end of the day, it's a business, and
for sure,
org owners don't give a fuck about you. I don't care.
No, I'm not suggesting it, but I mean, some owners are better than others. Is all I'm saying. Like,
of course. But I still think it's important for just make it very simple for yourself. Have it all in writing, so that if anything ends up falling out or you don't have a good relationship with your owner, then you can it's all in writing. It's simple.
Yeah. Well, and there's all this drama going on right now with the Singularity team where they have 3 months left on their contracts and they know that like Steel is trying to make that team with whatever org he's trying to make with. I don't know if it's public. I'm not going to say too much.
Oh.
What?
I was about to say it, but no.
No.
Don't almost leaked.
Almost leaked. I don't know if it's public or not, so I'm just not going to say what org or whatever's happening. But it's pretty common knowledge at this point that Steel's trying to make a team and buy their like the Singularity team. Like I think it's Shakezilla and who's the other guy? Hydrex. And Singularity, because of that, is asking like 60 grand buyout, and it's like 60 grand for 2 players, their MDL spot that comes with it. Whatever else goes on.
But what kind of contract did they sign?
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So like,
that's their fault.
I agree. We line up on this shit, Pete. Like, we line up on this shit. Like if you're gonna sign a contract,
shady for doing that and holding them up to it, but like,
see,
you're the dumbass.
I don't even think it's shady. I don't even think it's shady. Like, I don't even think it's like if you have this team, they're with this, and another org is coming in, and this org and this team cannot exist without your players. When you're in that situation, you get to make the market value at that point. Like it's not shady to do that. Like they're looking out for their business. And
it has huge repercussions though, right? Because if they spoke to Steel already and they want to leave and join his team, and then they go to their owner and they're saying, oh yeah, I want to join Steel's team, and he's like, all right, I'm not going to sell you unless I get 60K.
Yeah.
So then they're kind of just locked, and now they become upset and they don't want to play for the org anymore, and they're just kind of locked there. So the owners have to be careful.
It's not good.
If they deny moves, their players aren't going to want to play for them anymore.
Yep.
There's a middle ground always.
But there's only 3 months left in their contract, right? Their contract's up at the end of the year. That's why it's like, why are you charging so much? Because their contract's about to expire anyways, and soon you're going to get nothing.
Because they know the timing, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. They know the timing.
The timing.
Release the contract.
Release the contract.
Well, another thing is if you have a shitty contract where you're not even getting salary, you just leave. Like honestly, like
they're getting 1K a month, and they've been paying for them to live together for like a year or two.
Yeah. I'm not advising it, but like a lot of the shitty contracts, like you could
what
probably
are they gonna do?
just
Sue them?
Dude, that's what happened when we were on Splice and we were buying Crucial. He was making I want to say 75 euros a month. I'm not even kidding. That
Oh
was
my
his
God.
something like that. It was
What?
something ridiculous. No, I know. And we went to buy him, and there was no set buyout in the contract. And he was making actually no, sorry, he was making €0 at the month at the time, but he had signed like a pre-contract agreement that was going to make him eventually earning like something ridiculously low. And I was just like, Joey, just leave. Like this contract has zero value. Like he can't sue you. Like there's nothing's gonna happen. So Joey just went and told the guys like, all right, I'm just gonna leave. Actually, I'm just gonna go play for Splice. And then that guy sent like actually got a lawyer to send letters to his house to his parents because they had to co-sign because he was under 18 at the time, saying that like, yo, he's breaking the law. You need to like he can't leave this contract. This is legally binding. And I was like, Joey, trust me,
We'll
it's
pay
fine.
you back your 150
I was
euros.
like, he's just trying to scare you, dude. Like, he's just trying to scare you. And then it worked. He got scared. He got cold feet. We ended up having to pay, I think, like 5,000 euros for him or something, which was ridiculous at the time. Like, considering he was on a contract that was zero value, they weren't paying him anything. And that was Lowland Lions, by the way. Lowland Lions was the org who did that. I don't know if they even still exist. Yeah, shout out Lowland Lions. But yeah, it was just fucking ridiculous that they do that. Orgs can do shit like that. So, anyways, don't sign shitty contracts to any. Even if you're like an advanced team and some org comes up to you like, hey, we'll give you $100 a month. Sign this 2-year contract. Just don't. It's just not worth it. Don't sign shitty contracts.
Now we have
Always make
agents
sure
and
you have
players
buyouts.
association and all that, so I don't think.
Yeah,
that's
well,
gonna
for the pro
happen.
players, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of players who aren't even like I was in the players association for like a year and a half since it started. I don't think I talked to one person from the players association one time throughout any of it.
I mean, they're there to help, but at the end of the day, there's always someone who can help you just
Yeah.
negotiate a simple contract. Like even your parents.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's someone always out there that can just help you read it over if you don't understand something.
Yeah, and lawyers, there's a lot of lawyers who do free work too. If you just tell them, hey, I'm a 17-year-old, I've never signed a pro contract before, would you mind just making sure I'm not getting fucked? Like, most lawyers will just take the 15 minutes and check
Our
that for you.
problem is that we don't have enough billionaires sponsoring Counter-Strike, man. Like in Dota, they just go and like, I want you, yeah, 400,000, whatever, and they just like pay it. Like I swear, Dota players like don't even have contracts. They just like swapping rosters every day. I don't understand, and they're all worth like so much money. But
I have no clue what
Counter-Strike,
Dota
like
shit's
buyouts, like I feel like big buyouts like never happen. Like it, you know what I mean? Like they're rare.
Well, the
like,
closest
really
one we
rare.
had was the Simple and Flamey to MIBR for like 1.2 million or whatever.
I think it was 1.5, and
Was
Navi
it
said
1.5?
no. Yeah, they said
No, Navi said yes, it was going to happen.
Oh, really? I thought.
Yeah, Flamey was at the airport ready to go, and then Simple turned it down last second. Yeah, that's
Flamey was boarding the plane and Simple said, "I can't."
apparently.
Imagine if Flamey signs that shit and then Simple doesn't. He's just like he just flies over. He's like, oh fuck.
I feel like MIBR would have been the only ones pissed about that. They're like, fuck, we were only taking this guy to get Simple, and now he's here and Simple's gone.
God.
You know, fuck man, MIBR would have been pissed. Like, fuck, now we're stuck with this guy.
Flame is a good player though.
No, he is.
Yeah, speaking of Navi, when you guys played them, how did that series feel on your end?
It felt pretty straightforward. I think the rumors started leaking out like that Zeus was going to leave before we played. I could be wrong, but it's like, yeah, we were just, again, we had so much momentum coming in from the other stages that we just felt confident going into it, and we knew if we just hit our shots and played our game, then we would come out on top.
I guess that's what happened, yeah.
Crazy ego on this guy. Just thinks he's gonna beat Navi.
Standard stuff. Just hit your shot. Beat Simple. Okay.
That's pretty much the way it goes when you play against Simple. Like when you're playing against Simple, how much effort do you actually put into like avoiding Simple or countering him, or like how much actually goes into that when you're playing against them?
I mean, I'm sure you guys can speak to this too as ex-pro players, but like when you get in the server, you don't really think about, oh, I'm going to go long A. I think Simple's not there. You don't ever think about that kind of stuff. You just kind of go to the spot, and if you see openings, you take them. Doesn't matter who you're playing against, and you're not going to play differently just because you're playing against Simple, because also at the same time he can just maneuver and be somewhere else that you don't expect. And it's like, if you, let's say for instance on Dust 2 Navi CT side, right, Zeus plays long, what if Simple decides to hold long for him that round? It's like, I don't know, you just, I personally hate going into a server thinking about the players who I'm playing. I'm just playing against 5 other players and I don't really care who they are. I just gotta make sure I'm doing my strat properly and taking the openings that they give me.
Yeah, that was something that you were.
About it.
Yeah, that was always something you were really good at too. Like even as a player, going way back, was like abusing timings and like back when the lurk roll was like a thing. Obviously, it's pretty dead now, but back in the day when it was a thing, That was always something that you were really good at. So it makes sense that like as an in-game leader, that's like the same type of style of play that you play now with your teams.
Oh yeah, I don't call strats like I think we should hit B every round because simple plays A.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
like,
yeah, no, that
just
would
'cause
be
simple plays
ridiculous.
A, we can still go there, and we just got to make sure we do it properly.
This is something that when I watch your demos back for OpTic, how you guys played Train against Astralis, how you just like would work around timing so well. Like, I don't know. I don't expect you to reveal all your thoughts on pacing in the game or anything like that, but like, can you say anything about it? Because I notice you use timings better than I'd say 95% of IGLs.
I mean, pacing is just about for me to get a feel of how they're playing. So if I feel like I've been calling in the beginning a pretty slow game, I know they're not going to be ready for something fast in the next few rounds. It's just like, or sometimes I feel like I can just call a slow game the entire half and they can't deal with it. It's just about, it's really hard to quantify and explain, but it's just all about feeling with me.
So a lot like Shocks in that sense. Shocks is always big on that. He's like, you have to fear the game, you know. You have
No,
to
it's
have to
true.
fear the
Like
shots.
you
You have
as an
to feel
ex-soccer
it.
player, right? Like you and I have
Yeah.
played soccer before. If you're, let's say you're a striker and you're up against the center half and like the whole game, he's just like on your ass. You can't get any space. Eventually, you learn how to outmaneuver him, right? It's about how you feel. Like you didn't necessarily go into that game with a specific tactic of like to do this or that. You just kind of okay. You go up against him, and then eventually you learn all his tricks. And let's say if you're running behind, it might work better than not. So you just eventually you'll understand and learn it. And that's kind of how CS is. You just feel how the other team plays and their timings and their swings and all that stuff, and then you should be able to adapt.
Right. So is Man United or Arsenal finishing the top 4 this season?
No. It's so embarrassing.
No one.
So embarrassing.
well, which one is who do you think is more?
I think
who's gonna
Arsenal
finish
has
higher?
more of a chance because United's just in shambles.
It's a disaster over there. Nobody else on the show watches soccer though, so we better cut that out. There's gonna be some people in the comments that are freaking out right now, but that'll be about it. So yeah, move on from that. Yeah, no, big Arsenal fan over here though. Big.
Onto other interests. Are you still when you deathmatch, do you still like only listen to 21 Savage, or do you like listen to anyone else now, or
What
what?
the hell? No, I've updated my playlist quite a bit, but 21's still in there. He just goes hard.
I've had the new Post Malone album pretty much on fucking repeat since it's come out though.
I mean,
It's
it fits.
so
Like I'm in
good.
a server just killing people nonstop, so I might as well listen to songs about killing, right?
Really get in the mood.
No
Yeah.
wonder so many like North American players like rap stars. Yeah, okay, it makes a lot of sense now. Gotta just fit the mode.
So whatever
fit
gets
the
you in
mood.
the mode, it doesn't matter what it is. Could even be fucking Taylor Swift,
Classical.
Katy Perry. I don't care.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, fireworks.
Exactly.
So with this new, there's so many free agents right now. It's ridiculous how many free agents and benched players and blah blah all the shit. And 100 Thieves coming into the scene. What do you think about the rumors with them buying FaZe's team, potentially Guardian gone, and bringing in coldzera and Alexi B? How do you think those personalities are going to conflict between like Nico and coldzera, for example, both known guys with pretty big egos? What do you think that those rosters are going to look like? And even the Fnatic, like there's so many fucking roster change rumors right now, post major roster mania, where even Fnatic's rumored bringing in Flusha and Golden now. Like, what do you think about this whole free agent scene we have right now?
It's so hard, but it's probably the most exciting one we've ever had, right?
Yeah.
You have names like Flusha, Cold. Like they're just how are they on the bench? They haven't been playing for so long. Even like Keo, but like
Yeah.
you just gotta see if going back to the phase when you said it. So it would be like Nico, Olaf, Rain, Alexi, and Cold.
Cold,
Like,
yeah.
that team is just if everyone just swallows their pride and lets Alexi do his job, lets Cold do his job, and they all get along and just have a good game. Like Jesus, that team is going to be
Who
disgusting.
do you guys think is going to offer that? You think they'll just kind of swap it out, like Nico ops sometimes, Cold ops sometimes, or?
Dude, I think Olaf would probably op. I don't know why. I have that in my head that he would decide he's the opper.
I mean, they could almost all do it except for like Rain.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
I don't know if I've ever seen Rain op in my life.
No, I don't think so. Probably not. I bet we could check.
Need to, though.
No, I bet we could check the HLTV stats. I bet he has like 4 op kills in his career. I'm just gonna check right now just for fun.
It's probably just like he killed an opper one time with a pistol. It's like the only time he would ever have it.
Yeah. All right. Complete statistics for Rain. I haven't done this in a while. All right. Weapons. Oh boy. We're going way down the list. Honestly, I don't even see it yet.
Oh, there's no way it's 0.
Oh, no, it's 110. 110 op kills.
In his
This
career.
this is all
That's
time.
over like
yeah.
6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, that's not much of an opper, Rain. Not much of an opper.
Like primary
He does
uppers
his
get
best.
more than that in one event, right? Or one.
Some
Yeah.
do. ZywOo does for sure.
Even like
That guy's a fucking
Okay.
maniac. What does it feel like? Because like when you watch, like I've never played against ZywOo. I played against Simple obviously back in the day, but I haven't. You know, let's just say my career took a dive a little bit, so I haven't played against ZywOo much, at all. So what does it feel like? What are the differences between playing against him and playing against other oppers? Because I was talking to Maniac the other day, and he was saying that ZywOo plays like perfect CS. Like he doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't get caught out of position. He hits all the easy shots. Does it feel like that when you're playing against him? I don't know if you scrimmed against them much or played against them in tournaments or what.
You just gotta meet his aggression with aggression, because like if you go passive, he'll take advantage of that space. Like you look at all his clips, like he'll kill one, and his teammate will get scared, so he'll just keep going because he knows he can just run him down. So it's like you gotta kind of just meet his aggression with aggression. That's the only way I think you can beat him.
Just don't be scared of him. Give him the big dick.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah, well, fair enough. Makes sense. The thing is, he just seems so hard to play against because when you watch him play, like if you're watching his demos, it's hard to find him getting caught out of position at any point. Like he's always in a spot where he can take a shot and move to his next line. Like always, he's always able to take it. Like it's super rare to see him die and not get 2 shots off before he dies. Whether he hits them or doesn't hit them, sometimes he misses, sometimes he hits. Most of the time he hits, to be fair. But he almost is always in positions where he gets multiple shots off before he dies.
It's incredible.
is-
Someone like that young has that kind of game sense.
fucking
and
wild.
He has so little experience.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Fuck, he's so
If
good.
only.
I know. If I was just that, like I had to just grind so hard for so long just to be mediocre for an extended period of time. Like if I just having that natural ability, fuck, that would have been nice.
Like we've joked a few times on Energy, like, what the fuck is this guy eating? Like we need to get on the ZywOo diet.
For real. No, we gotta figure that out.
All
No,
the baguettes, dude.
I was about to say he's on that original diet, the eat whatever you want diet. I think.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, it
Yeah, no, he's on the good diet. He's on the fun diet. He's on the make you happy diet.
I'm telling you, your reactions are slower, but you play CS all day and just eat, so you're just always happy. You know what I mean? You're always
He's on maximum dopamine.
just
Every
elevated
kill
at
he
all
gets
times.
is just like a release, like an orgasm.
Keep fragging.
yeah. Those are the good days when you can just do that. I remember, oh man, like living in the States. I think you were probably on your health grind when you were in Texas, but when I was in California, when Splice had their house there, man, there was so many food options all the time, 24 hours a day. I gained like 22 pounds in the 4 months I was there.
my
It was
God.
fucking unreasonable. I was like, dude, what the fuck? It was so easy. There were so many choices. And then I come home and I'm like, I don't even have that choice. Like I can't even eat that much if I wanted to here.
People wonder why Americans are fat. It's like our food's just better. Like it's just
Yeah,
efficient
so much
and it's
of it,
better
so
and it's
much of it.
available.
It's not even
So
better.
much
It's
of it.
just
Available.
there's so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just because you guys just add shitloads of fat to everything.
Yeah,
Like,
that's real. That's
it
actually
does-
really it. It's not
you don't
necessarily
even
better.
need it. It's just like, mashed potatoes, whatever. Let's dump like 4 tablespoons of butter in this shit.
Just gravy on top
Some
of the
oil.
butter, too.
Yeah.
It's like you
It's
just
just-
sprinkle a little bit of chives and they're like, that's healthy, right? Greens. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if
Pizza's a
like
veggie.
you guys went to the States, like you go grocery shopping in the States. I go like
Oh man.
to buy chicken, and it all looks so disgusting. Like it's all
Yeah.
covered in like cancer cells. Like what are they juicing these chickens up with?
And it's like a
Like when I go to
quarter of the
store here in
price of
Canada,
Canada.
it's always like just beautiful chicken breast. Like you get away, it's just lean.
It's also
chicken.
twice as expensive, but
They're
you
I don't
tiny.
gotta
care, but
take
it's,
that.
it's
No,
just
you take
disgusting.
that.
Yeah, no, I agree. The chicken there does look grimy, unless you buy like organic, but then you're literally spending a fortune.
No, exactly.
I still remember when Machinegun. So Machinegun, he was a super nice guy, by the way. Fucking love him. He's the funniest guy, nicest guy ever. Super weird guy.
Oh,
but-
Machinegun.
Yeah. Love. He was such a nice guy, man. But anyway, so he came from Mongolia. You know, obviously, bit of a culture change to LA. So
Shout
he
out to
comes
the
from
Mongolian barbecue.
Yeah, shout out to Mongolian barbecue. Yeah, never went. Yeah. So anyway, bit of a culture change from LA to Mongolia, and so we were in this Target this one time, and we were like in line, like at the fucking cashier's desk, and obviously he didn't have like a credit card, he didn't have a bank account, he had nothing. So what would happen was we would just pay for all of his shit, and then like Splice would kind of like pay us back for it. And when he got, it was fucking weird. The whole situation was weird. But anyway, so I was paying for all the stuff, and I turn around, and so put it in perspective. Machinegun's about 6'4", 260. So like he's fucking giant. Like he's your classic Mongolian guy, right? And we're standing in line at this cashier, and I turn around and I look at him because he wasn't like standing next to me anymore. And I turn around and look, and there's some lady holding like her fucking like like the shopping cart like this. She's just fucking wide-eyed, and she has her baby sitting like in like the seat on like the shopping carts, and Machinegun's just like walking up to the baby, touching the baby's stomach. And he picks up the baby, and I was like, no, you can't pick up other people's babies. And I'm like, and he just picks up the baby, and he's like, hello, yeah, and he's like rubbing the baby's belly and shit, and this lady's just standing there like, what the fuck?
You didn't ask her?
No, nothing. He just grabbed this lady's baby, dude. And I was like, and I walked over to him, and I was like, and then she looks at me, and I walk up like, fuck, sorry. Like, I'll come and I was like, Tevna, put the baby down. That's it. But and he puts the baby down, and he looks at her, and he's like, so cute. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's go, bud. Let's fucking leave now that you've just manhandled this lady's child.
This is so
like,
funny.
Dude, it was so funny. Like I was like looking back at it now, it's hilarious. But this lady was just fucking terrified. She was like, "Oh my god, this giant Mongolian dude is holding my baby right now. Like, why is this happening? we live in a society. Why is this happening?" It was absolutely fucking crazy. So funny though, looking back at it. Obviously, that team was a bit of a disaster. There's some stories that I've never told. Maybe I'll tell them. I need to get permission from some people to tell some stories that went down in there. But yeah, there was that was an interesting time playing with
when
those
I was on
guys.
OpTic, we had this coach named Audrey, and his English was pretty bad. So we went to this restaurant this one time, and you know how waiters always ask you for like soup or salad? So they're like, would you like a soup or a salad with your meal? And then he like looks at her all confused and like shocked, and he's like, he starts talking to Oscar in Spanish, and he asks him, "It's like, does she mean like a super salad, like a giant big salad, like super?"
Yeah, well, it's America, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
There's the fucking giant salad. Dude, I remember I was in Philadelphia for like a Fragadelphia event one time a couple years ago, and we went to this like Italian restaurant. And there was like, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get pizza. And there was two options. There was like a small pizza and a large pizza. And one was like $8, one was like $11, right? So I'm like, okay, we're at a restaurant. Like this isn't a pizza place, it's a restaurant. So like small salad, like think of small pizza. Think of like your standard plate, right? That's what I imagined a small pizza was, and a large pizza, maybe like 12-inch, maybe like a little bit bigger than that, right? I was like, okay, yeah, or maybe even a 14-inch, whatever. This is probably a large pizza. They fucking walk this thing out, dude. It's like the size. It was like the size of this table.
Oh my god!
Like the large pizza, which was $11, was seriously this big, and like this, it was like a big square thing that came out on this giant. Two people were carrying this out to me. I was like, what the fuck is this? It took up the entire table. We had to switch tables because it took up the whole thing. I was like, what the fuck?
What place is this? It sounds
dude,
good.
I don't remember what it was called. It was in. I was there with Mitch actually. He might remember. I think I was. I must have been with Mitch. Yeah, he might remember what the place was called. I don't fucking remember, but that shit was wild. I was like, what is with Americans and their portions? This is
Cheesecake
fucked.
Factory?
No, but I've heard of the Cheesecake Factory.
Are ridiculous.
I remember when we go to events back in the day, Garrett was our coach, and he was, whenever we'd go to an event in the States, he was like, I'm going to Cheesecake Factory. Like, we're going to Cheesecake. I never went.
Canada, you order like chicken tenders or whatever, you get like 4. There's a meal called the Cajun Littles, and they're chicken tenders. They give you, I swear to God, like 20.
like full size chicken tenders?
No, they're like smaller, but
chicken nuggets are like gold in Canada, dude. They're like McDonald's are like $7. In the US, they're like, $1, you get like 5. It's like, what? Like
$5 for $4 for 20 or something.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
At Burger King had to one up them, and it was like $2 or something for 20 or something.
That's what I mean. You guys are trying to give them away for free in Canada. They're ordering that shit.
It's not all chicken though, for sure, right?
Yeah, no, not in the States. McDonald's in the States fucking sucks compared to Canada. Like Canadian McDonald's is actually pretty good. Like it's not obviously
not as good as European, right?
No, you see, it depends where you go. Yeah, Asian McDonald's is weird. Asian
McDonald's are the best.
Europeans love to talk shit about Americans, and they're like, McDonald's. I've never seen more packed McDonald's than in Europe. Dude. They're always
No,
full.
that's so true.
Just
True.
jam packed. You can't even you're in a line of 25 people.
It's
Like-
true. I was in Sweden over the summer for like a month and a half. Me and my girlfriend were there, and like because she's Swedish, and these McDonald's were full. Like we went to McDonald's one time, and there was like a line of probably not exaggerating 40 people.
No, I know
Like,
it's crazy. I
Everyone's
go
so
to
skinny there
McDonald's
somehow,
here.
though, still.
You go to
Great
McDonald's here.
genetics.
There's like a person in line getting a muffin, and they just like leave. Like just, no one's there. There's like maybe a small East Indian family.
Yeah,
Like,
in
we just-
Sweden, in America, it makes you wider to eat McDonald's there. In Sweden, it makes you taller though. So
Yeah, no, they got great genes over there. They also like their portion sizes are smaller though. That's definitely a
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
But when I was at an event in China, by the way, fuck China. China sucks. Been there. Has
Banned.
anyone else been there for an event? Has anyone else been to China for an event? Pete, have you ever been to China for an
We're
event?
going twice this year.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. China fucking blows. You can't
Why?
get on any of the websites you want to get on. All the internet is super slow. It's impossible to like get food late at night. Everything closes super early.
Surely not. There's like 2 billion people there.
Dude, I'm telling you, fucking sucks. Okay. I was there. We had to walk one night. I remember like they walked for like 35 minutes across like some whatever city we were fucking in. I don't know what it was. Just to get to like the KFC that was open until 10. Like I swear to God. And then like we had to oh my God. I just remembered this thing. So we had like, you know how when you go to events in foreign countries, a lot of the times the events give you like a local person as like a translator, right? So we had this like nice little Chinese girl. She was studying English, and she was in her 4th year of English at some university. Barely spoke any English, by the way. But she was, anyways. And we asked her to get us a taxi to like go back to the hotel because like everyone had to wait for the buses, but we didn't want to wait because we were like done and we had to wait 3 more hours. So we asked her to get us a taxi. And so I was like, we were like, can you call us a taxi? And she kind of looks at us and we're like a taxi, you don't like to go back to the hotel? And she's like, okay, yeah, sure. And she's like, she walks us out of the venue, walks us out to the corner of the street, like it's not just like a nice like calm road. This is practically a fucking highway. Like it'd be like being in downtown Toronto. Like that's what it was like. And she just walks out into the middle of the street and starts waving her arms around at taxis driving by. And we're like, stop, fucking stop, come back. Like you're gonna die.
Jesus.
Like this isn't worth it. We just wanted to go home early. Like don't kill yourself.
was
You
this a
fucking lunatic.
Dedication.
was this WESG?
Yeah, that was WESG. Yeah.
Oh, you were in some bumfuck city, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
Chengshao or something.
Yeah, we were somewhere fucking
Yeah,
weird.
that wasn't.
And I remember I had like 26 hours of travel. I get to the airport. There's nobody there. Like people from events are supposed to be there. For people who don't know, when players land at events, there's like people from the event that are there holding a sign like, "Hey, I'm here to pick up Team Energy," And then you go, you meet them. They get you on a shuttle. They drive you to wherever you're going, right? So I get there. I'm in China. My phone doesn't work. There's no people there at the gate when I get out. And I'm just like, oh, fuck's sake. So when I had just been traveling for like 26 hours, there's nobody there holding any signs with my name on it, nothing. They're supposed to hold up a sign that said WSG Canada. There wasn't fucking shit. So like, hey, whatever. I'm so done. I'm so done right now. I'm just gonna go fucking sit in a chair. So I walk by and I just go sit in a chair and I just sit there for like 25 minutes and I'm just sitting there like I'm gonna die here or somebody's gonna come find me. Like I don't care. I was so over it at that point. I was just done with it. So then eventually some like lady comes up to me and she's like, "Are you Davey at WSG?" And I was like, "Oh, fucking yep, that's me." And she was like, "Okay, come with us." And so she like walks me over to some other area in the airport. And then I'm just sitting there and she's like, "Okay, wait here." And I was like, "All right, whatever." So I'm waiting there. And it goes 30 minutes goes by and I see her go walking by and I stopped her and I was like, "Hey, like, when are we going?" And she was like, "We have to wait for all the players." And I was like, "Can I just go though?" And she was like, "We have to wait for all the players." And I was like, "No, but like, I just have the address to the hotel? I'll take a taxi." She's like, "No taxi." And I was like, "No, just please, I just want to go to sleep." And she was like, "You can't take taxi. It's too far." And I was like, "How far is it?" She's like, 3 hours. And I was like, what the fuck? So we had to sit in the airport for another 2.5 hours, wait for all the players to land. And then they put us all on this big coach bus and drove us 3 hours to the hotel. I was like, that fucking sucked. Maybe that's why I hate China so much. It didn't start off on a good foot, but it was a fucking disaster. That whole thing was the worst.
I mean, that's probably
Sounds
like a one-off. That
awful.
sounds like a nightmare, though.
It's true. What was the worst? What was the worst thing everybody here has experienced at an event? Corey, we'll
Mine's
start with
not
you.
Bad. All right, Corey, go
Yeah,
ahead.
start with Corey. What was like the worst experience you had at an event, not including Serbia when they just didn't give you a flight?
Well, that is the worst because
Yeah,
they
that
still
was the
owe me
worst.
like $2,000. But
Actually, I guess you could just tell this story. Have you told this story on the show before? You
No, I don't
might
think
have.
so.
I don't remember. All right, yeah,
I
tell
wa-
that one.
I went to I was going to a Logitech promotional thing in New York, and my flight left New York to Serbia. So I asked the people at Logitech or whatever.
But they had booked you the flight from San Jose to New York and then New York to Serbia.
But I was
they
already
thought
in
you
New
were
York,
San
literally
Jose.
on the day that I left. So
Right.
I asked Logitech, I was like, so is it possible that I just take this? And they're like, oh yeah, no, I've done that before, like whoever I talked to. And I was like, all right, because I've never done that before. But apparently when it came down to it, like you had to get on the San Jose flight to New York or else it just voids it. But they didn't just void just that first flight. They voided the whole thing, like even the coming back. So I like called them and I told them what happened. And they're like, oh yeah, just rebuy your flight and we'll reimburse you. So I did. They never reimbursed that, by the way. And then on the way back, they booked me a flight. I go there. It's just void as well. Apparently the credit card like bounced or something. So I stayed in Serbia for like an extra 2 days while they like figured out how to pay for my flight, because I was like, no, I'm not paying for this because you guys are just not going to pay me back. And then they finally got me a flight with some like other dude's credit card, and then I got to go home. But
you almost have to pay your way both ways.
Dude, yeah, $4,000
for fun.
Yeah. And then I'm just in Serbia, and they kept saying like, "Don't go anywhere without like someone knowing where you are. It's super dangerous." I was just walking around. It was just fine. Like,
no, we were actually making jokes about it. How Corey was going to be the king of Serbia by the time he came back, like because he's there. He's like the biggest dude there, walking around, and he's like, "I don't know what I'm going to do for 2 days. I'm just going to go to the gym like the whole time."
Dude, I went to some gym. The drop-in fee was 50 cents. Like literally 50 cents, like our money. And I was
Corey's
just like,
making
what?
jokes. He's like, I think I'm just going to become like a Serbian pro player. I'm just
Dude,
going to buy a team
was
here,
so
buy a house.
cheap,
I'll
dude.
just live here now.
Dude, you go to like their what was that place called? It was like a burger joint.
Oh, what was it?
Ponchos or something?
Ponchos, that was it. Ponchos, yeah.
There's a place called Ponchos, dude. It was popping. It was like 24/7 hour place, and it was full all the time for good reason, because they just made awesome burgers and fries and stuff. And dude, I'm telling you, you could like get 2 burgers and like a drink and like fries, and it was like $4, like our money. Like it was so everything was so cheap. Like, yeah, you went to like a steak house and they're like asking you like, oh, you sure? It's like, dude, this is like $8. Like it's fine.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, because the people we were with, they like weren't eating, and we noticed it like after like the first, like the guides. They're like weren't eating anything when we were going out to eat, and we're like, why aren't you guys eating? And they're like, oh, we don't really go out to eat here. We're like, okay, we'll buy you food. Like we'll buy you, like it's fine, we'll buy it. They're like, no, are you sure? Like it's like this is like half the price of our meals. Like
it's like a quarter of the price, dude. Like you go to a steakhouse here, you're paying like minimum $25 for like your meal, not including drink and anything else you get. So
yeah.
All
right, Pete, what was your
like,
worst?
What, $10 a burger?
Yeah.
For 4.
Yeah, 2 burgers, fries, and a drink, and it was like $4. Like,
remember when I tried to give you the burger in like in the tortilla, like in like the wrap, and they're like, "This is a burger," and you're like, "That's not."
That's how burgers are in Serbia. I think.
No, well, the funniest part is like the day before they'd already gone, so they knew that they served normal burgers, and then the next day they tried to serve burgers in a tortilla. We're like, "That's not."
I was like, "What?"
It's like Plejskavica or something. I don't know. Someone in the comments maybe will write what it is.
Wait, are you actually saying real things right now?
No, it's like Plejskavica or something. I don't know. Some Food Network. No. It's like it's like their burger. It's like a gyro or euro or whatever kind of thing, but it's burger meat. Yeah, whatever. Just some culture for you.
Thank you. I honestly thought
you're enlightened now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then going to like, I was trying to find this gym because I was there for 2 days, so I had nothing to do. Although the Netflix in Serbia is prime. Okay, they have every movie possible. Like literally every movie that exists is on Netflix in Serbia. So if you ever get an IP to like go and get a Serbian one, and I think it's probably because the company's like, oh, we're going to make no money off these movies anyways in Serbia, so let's just sell them to Netflix, like, and then people will watch it. But I remember I was trying to find a gym, and I was walking around, and everything Google Maps sent me to just didn't exist. Like, it was just, like, I was walking around for like 2 hours, like, all right, let's try to find this one. And I go there, it's like closed, or like the picture is like literally wrong. Like, whatever I walk to doesn't exist. Then I finally found one, but yeah.
All right, Pete, what was your worst event that you went to? Like, worst story? Like,
I guess I'm just the luckiest person in the world because like I've only lost my bag one time, and once I got stopped at Frankfurt Airport because like secondary security check, whatever. I look suspicious apparently, so they.
Yeah, you look a little terroristy.
Yeah, so.
Germany goes hard though on those things. They I hate them.
But I didn't have to do anything. Like I just stood there. They did a background check without saying a word to me, and then they let me go. But the problem is, anytime you get booked to Europe and they connect you through Frankfurt, it's like an hour layover.
Yeah.
And that airport is the busiest airport in Europe. So they're just like playing with your life pretty much. So I get pulled over, secondary check, I missed my flight, and then luckily Rambo, our coach on the time, this happened at Cole, just stayed behind and we took the next flight back. And then I think there was like a bad storm at the time. So we flew from Frankfurt to like our original destination was Denver or something. And then we couldn't land in Denver because there was a storm. So we landed in like St. Paul. Then we had to refuel, stay on the plane for like a few hours. Then we finally got back to Denver, had to spend the night in Denver, and then finally back to Texas. So, I mean,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Dude, hour layovers are by far the worst though, because like
Terrifying.
it's so hard to get them. And like I remember one time I had like a 45-minute layover, but I was like, oh, maybe they put me in the same term. No, I'm like across the airport.
Yeah.
I make it over there. Clearly, I know I've missed my flight. I go to the lady and she's like, oh, well, you landed in time. I was like, bitch, there's no way that it's like physically possible. Like if I ran and got stopped by like it's just impossible. And then she just like rebooked me. But I was like, why even say that?
Like them. I like the short layovers because you just like, it's fun to race to your next destination. Like, if you make it or not, like if you make it, it's awesome because you're just boom, you're on your next flight.
It's awesome if you make it, but
I get so stressed by short layovers, man. I get so, and I get bad migraines too when I travel. So it stresses me out so fucking much.
I feel like 2 hours is usually fine. 2 hours is usually like you make it and then you can get food or wait like 40 minutes and then you're like, okay. But
when you have a short layover, do you guys have the ego that you're just gonna power walk, or are you like actually sprinting through an airport? Are you running? Are you ever actually running?
Yes, I have ran. I have actually ran through an airport once.
I think I've always known I was gonna miss it or I was gonna make it, so I never had to like run. You know what I mean? Like it's always been like
I had one. I had one where it's how it shows you like how far away you are.
Cardio.
Like when you're in the terminal, it'll say this is an 8-minute walk. And then I had one where the gate was closing in 5 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, here we fucking go!" and I sprinted and I ran there, and I literally got there like as the last person was like walking through the thing, and they were closing the door, and I was like, "Fuck, stop!"
Yeah.
I'm
I have
here.
the best idea for airports. Like,
okay,
2 different ideas. Either one, you get like a bunch of against all the walls on the floor, a bunch of rollerblades. And people can just take them and like fly to their next thing. Or you know those things that make you walk faster, like the pathways, whatever they're called?
Yeah.
Like just have one express one that is literally flying. So if you fall, that's on you. But if you make it, then you're just going
high risk, high reward.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the rollerblade idea. At like each stop, like you walk out of your gate, you walk up. There's like a little rollerblade stand there. There's some guy behind the desk. What size are you? All right, no problem. Here you go. Size 12, there you go.
100%, you'll make your next destination.
You know how many fucking injuries they would have?
You're gonna start adding
something saying, I don't care if I get injured, I won't sue.
No, obviously, yeah, but like just how many absolute morons would just destroy each other in the airports.
People are gonna start doing tricks at the airport and making YouTube content with it.
Seriously, no, that's that's an interesting take. I've tried to think about this so many times. I don't really know what like a real like answer is to the whole airport suck thing.
I'm a lot more easygoing now, so we'll see.
You'll hate it.
Like higher, I don't even know what to say. The higher GDP Asian countries or whatever, like pretty clean though. Like Singapore, no gum anywhere, and like Japan, like everyone wears those face masks everywhere they go so that they don't. If they cough, it's in a mask, so you don't get anyone else sick. It's like a courtesy thing.
Yeah, well, in Singapore, it's like against the law to spit gum on the ground, right? Like you'll actually get fined if you do it.
They'll kill you. You're dead. They'll execute you in the public square. Yeah.
0 to 100. 0 to 100 real quick.
I think they actually do have the death penalty for weed, just so you guys know.
They do in Malaysia because
we
went in Malaysia, and they told us, they're like, look, I know you guys are from Canada. Do not get caught smoking weed. Like, if you get caught smoking weed, you will go to prison for a long time, and there's nothing we can do about it. We're like, all right, we won't buy any weed. No problem. All right, well, I think that's probably the show. I think Corey has an out here soon. I think he's got to go, and that's an hour and a half anyway, so that's pretty much the show. Pete, thanks for coming on. as
for
always.
having
Hopefully
me.
we'll have you on again in the future, and I hope you win some events soon. You know, I'm always looking forward to that. I really
Can't wait
like
for a couple more Twitlongers and
yeah.
I'm done with that, thankfully.
Oh, are you playing WoW? I don't remember. I think you used to play WoW back in the day, didn't you?
Never
Who
played
played
it.
WoW back in the day? Oh, fuck it, doesn't matter. All
oh,
right,
if you
so
want to ruin your life more, WoW Classic just came out. It's pretty good. You
Yeah,
gain all that weight back and more.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. So this has been Peeker's Advantage episode 13. If you guys did enjoy the show, you've made it this far, don't forget to check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/PeekersAdvantage. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like it. Make sure you go follow Stanislaw on Twitter, follow everything they're doing. Go check them out. Support Energy, of course. Big fan. And yeah, that's the end of the show. Pete, again, thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.